Hey, welcome to this Bible study on the topic of how does the Spirit of God protect you? And the moment I say or ask that question, what comes to the mind? Maybe you're thinking, well, I want the Spirit of God to protect me from pain, from agony, from fill in the blank. And so often we have a very narrow view of what it means for God to protect us. And if you follow us regularly, you may notice that I've started a sermon series on this, but looking at this Bible study, and we're going to ask, how does the Spirit of God guide us and change us over the next couple of months? But today, looking at it from the perspective of how does God protect us, we're going to look at several different passages in the Bible just to give us a little bit of peace here, peace there, so that we can begin to decide how does this actually work. And so I want to start in Luke 4 verses 14 through 30. Jesus returned in the power of the Spirit to Galilee, and news about him spread throughout the whole countryside. He taught in their synagogues and was praised by everyone. Jesus went to Nazareth, where he had been raised. On the Sabbath, he went to the synagogue as he normally did and stood up to read. The synagogue assistant gave him the scroll from the prophet Isaiah. He unrolled the scroll and found the place where it was written, "The Spirit of God is upon me, because the Lord has anointed me. He has sent me to preach good news to the poor, to proclaim release to the captives, and recovery of sight to the blind, to liberate the oppressed, and to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor." He rolled up the scroll, gave it back to the synagogue assistant, and sat down. Every eye in the synagogue was fixed on him. He began to explain to them, "Today the scripture has been fulfilled just as you heard it." Everyone was raving about Jesus. So impressed were they by the gracious words flowing from his lips. They said, "This is Joseph's son, isn't it?" Then Jesus said to them, "Undoubtedly you will quote this saying to me, 'Doctor, heal yourself. Do here in your hometown which we've heard you do in Capernaum.'" He said, "I assure you that no prophet is welcome in the prophet's hometown. And I can assure you that there were many widows in Israel during Elijah's time when it didn't rain for 3.5 years. And there were many widows in Israel during Elijah's time when it didn't rain for 3.5 years, and there was a great food shortage in the land. Yet Elijah was sent to none of them, but only to a widow in the city of Zarephath, in the region of Sidon. There were also many persons with skin diseases in Israel during the time of the prophet Elisha, but none of them were cleansed. Instead, Naaman the Syrian was cleansed. When they heard this, everyone in the synagogue was filled with anger. They rose up and ran him out of town. They led him to the crest of the hill on which their town had been built, so that they could throw him off the cliff. But he passed through the crowd and went on his way. So right there, we begin with kind of a hearing of Jesus returned in the power of the Spirit to Galilee. So the Spirit of God is with Jesus, and that he goes into the synagogue and he begins to teach. And this part of the scroll that he's looking at, you can go look it up. It's Isaiah 61. It's verses 1 through 2. So you can see it right there. And to think about, how is the Spirit of God protecting? Well, here, the Spirit of God is upon me, because the Lord has anointed me. He has sent me to preach good news to the poor, to proclaim release to the prisoners and recovery of sight to the blind, to liberate the oppressed, and to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor. So right there, we get a sense that God's Spirit is with Jesus in such a way that he is teaching, that he is being able to be present with the people, and he's giving them hope. That protection of the Spirit is connected to hope. And then of how it can change lives. That preaching good news to the poor, release to the prisoners, recovery of sight to the blind, understanding insight, liberating the oppressed. It's like being able to go, oh, there is more to life than. Thinking about that. There is more to life than pain. There is more to life than despair. There is more to life than hate. There is more to life than chaos. But do we ask for that protection of the Spirit? Do we ask for the protection of the Spirit? Hey, protect the love, protect the ability to hope, protect the ability for love, peace, joy,